Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today on our call, we have the CEO, Scott MacFabe from BluMetric. BluMetric trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol BLM, and it also trades on the OTC under SEPOF. The company is currently trading at 42 cents with about 29 million shares outstanding, or about a $12 million market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. Great to have Scott with us today. BluMetric Environmental, name that we've looked at a number of times in the past, but we've never had the opportunity to interview management in this format. So certainly happy to have you here, Scott. You've got a presentation with you. We're going to follow up some questions, so I'm just going to hand it over to you and let you go.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. So welcome, everybody. Very nice to virtually meet you. I just thought I would go through a very recent presentation we gave at our AGM just last week. So mostly fresh opinion on our past fiscal year and a few comments about where we're headed. So I'll advance the screen accordingly. Standard disclaimer about forward-looking statements. I'm definitely not going to read that to you, so I will pass on that. Let me see here. Trevor, I'm just going to move you over a little bit. Excellent. Okay. So what's BluMetric? Who are we? Really, it comes down to our key people. We've got a very interesting mix of people, interdisciplinary team of consulting professionals and experts and water tech leaders. Most companies that do what we do, you're one or the other, but we actually work very closely together and sell integrated solutions to our clients and to the market. In terms of technology, we're clean tech focused, really on resilient and agile water treatment products. We say mission tested and supported. We've been supporting the Canadian Department of National Defence for over 30 years for water treatment systems, specifically for the Royal Canadian Navy or land forces. An example might be if you were on a Royal Canadian Navy boat and you're drinking clean water, there's a very good chance it was produced through one of our systems. If you were up in Iqaluit last Christmas holidays and their water treatment was down because of diesel contamination, because all their power is diesel generated up there, you would be drinking water through systems that we provided to the Canadian Department of National Defence land forces to operate while they were troubleshooting and resolving the issues they had on the water treatment system. So a little bit about our tech. Our solutions, really, we say thought leadership through combined cutting edge water tech and sustainable solutions to complex environmental issues. And really, we want to be the company, the entity that clients come to help resolve their biggest headaches, and looking for new ways to resolve the issues that we see for our clean tech, which we say mission-ready water in a world of uncertainty. A little bit about our financial highlights for 2022. Revenue is around 34.3 million. Net earnings of about 1.3 million. Net cash, meaning after we have very little debt. If you take a look at our balance sheet, you'll see it's extremely clean. We've worked very hard the last 5 years doing that. We have a little bit of debt at about 1.5 million that we renegotiated at like 3% with the bank. They're trying to buy it back, but we think we like 3%. So our net cash position today is about 3.6 million. Our total float in the bank today is around 5 million. Our gross profit margins run around 22%. They ebb and flow depending on the assignments or technology cycle we're working on, have been as high as 26, 27%. If you look year over year, we had a slight decline coming off of in terms of our top line coming off of the pandemic, and really mainly we were selling a lot of very specialized services to the entertainment industry for COVID support. But we replaced a lot of that work or pivoted with new services. our gross margins reduce as a result of that. Those type of services tailing off, but again, other aspects of our business are compensating nicely. So I won't go through all of our numbers here, but I think that the main thing is you can see fairly stable at our top line. We've been staying in the black for pretty much last 3.5, 4 years since I've been here now 5. Our data is hanging around in around 2.2 million. Net earnings around 1.3. So I could go on, but really the number we also focused on heavily is we really manage our cash and produce profit sustainably. So we've got a nice balance there to do what we need to, especially we see some headwinds that may push us forward or backwards. We're pretty much ready to handle what comes our way. In terms of our markets, which verticals do we work in? We really focus on 4. The largest is our commercial industrial business. That's mostly consulting and cleanup relative to industrial clients, brownfield redevelopments, especially in large urban settings. It's part of a historical consultancy that makes up part of the business, profitable, very sustainable, a lot of recurring industry or recurring business. Next is our government business. We say government, it's the same kind of environmental services that we provide to government clients, but the difference is we really focus on north of 60. We've got a lot of experience providing agile services up in the very far north. We've got operations in Whitehorse. We've got a really nice operation up in Yellowknife. We do a lot of work out of Nunavut, and from there we can go wherever we need to be. So it's a good business. It's an excellent part of our balance sheet. Military currently last year was running around 18%. That number's a little low in terms of our revenue mix, mainly because it's coming off some very large assignments and we're looking to ramp up for some new ones. And that's where our clean tech, water tech business sits. It's almost all clean tech to the military. Not a lot of services except the services that we provide to support the technology that we sell. And last is mining. We historically had relied far too heavily on one key client out of Sudbury that after a while did not necessarily appreciate value propositions. As you can imagine, it turned into a commodity business. And so we've been spending a lot of time diversifying and improving our client portfolio in mining, especially in northern Quebec. We've got a very thriving business, French-speaking business in Quebec out of Montreal and Gatineau and north. And as a result, we are seeing some nice growth and diversification with new clients in that market. So that's how we shook out last year. Usually there's an ebb and flow, almost 25% equally spread. But the nice thing about what this shows you, hopefully, as an investor, is that we're pretty resilient in the diversification of the markets that we serve. Typically, 2 of the 4 are doing well. When all 4 are doing well, we're doing really well. The goal here is to boost military, and that's really our push this year. A little bit on the industry. There's no lack of opportunity in our industry, be it related to water services and technology, whether it's dealing with the incidents and natural disasters, dealing with support overseas. We do get a lot of calls relative to our technology, relative to supporting what's going on in the Ukraine. Definitely adaptive and innovative technologies. Really, the way we adapt our technologies is a very close connection with our clients, understanding at a very high level what their challenges are and adjusting and adapting our technology to improve either their mission or their business outcome. So that's how we operate in terms of improving the business. Look a little bit at our market focus. Talk a little bit about, again, our 4 key markets that we play in. For government, we have a lot of multi-year contracts and call-ups, as we call them. Really, it is site remediation, focused cleanup, environmental services, waste management. We also do a lot of that work with key Indigenous partners in the far north. It's a very important aspect of our business, especially in Canada. And you'll see either in previous press releases or soon to come that it really has become an aspect of our business that we embrace and have some great teaming partners to execute on that. Commercial industrial, again, really the remediation of contaminated sites, brownfields work. There's a fair amount of that going on, despite what's going on in the markets for real estate. But the reality is with lack of available real estate, there's still plenty of work to be done there, and we're considered a consultant of choice. Compliance and auditing services to keep our clients compliant and operating appropriately, and water resources management. For our mining business, really increasing our mining activity, especially, as I said, in Northern Ontario and Northern Quebec. We also have a very active business out of Yellowknife as well, supporting some key clients up there. Specifically, the Giant Mine project is a key client of ours, one of the largest in the territories. That includes water management and treatment for mining water. And again, we work with some very key Indigenous partners up in that part of the world. So for military, we really look at multi-year design build opportunities. We continue to operate on some and look to continue to sell more. Agile water treatment solutions, really that came from our clients coming to us saying, we love the simplicity, the resiliency of the technology that you make for the military, but it's big. It's big for a boat, it's big for land forces. Can we scale it down and improve the mission by having it trailer mounted? And so we have a system already designed and ready for market now that addresses that need, and that will be a big push for us going forward. Partners for production and international opportunities, that goes hand in hand. I think growth for us outside of Canada and within Canada really should be with very skilled technology integrators, a partner that will work with us and support us to be able to get our technology in the hands of clients and needs around the world. And so we continue to discuss that opportunity with various dance partners. And I think we're very close to developing what we need in order to be able to execute on that. But very critical for us to stay focused on what it is that we're really good at, and to look to partner with others to really leverage that so we can get our products in better markets and scale them up a lot faster with their help. A couple of examples of the kind of work that we do. You know, in Toronto, we talk a little bit about our brownfields work, but definitely looking at putting properties back into useful position for redevelopment. One aspect of our business definitely is using risk assessment to be able to understand how we can bring properties into beneficial use after the assessment remediation work has been done. Usually saves our clients a fair amount of money. So we definitely look to do all the right things and then support it with the right sciences and engineering to get our clients where they need to go. So we act as business partners. There's an example of a site in Montreal. We were hired after a previous consultant had done a fair amount of work, and we came up with an accelerated plan to within 8 weeks actually get the property cleaned up and through all aspects of approvals to bring it to market very quickly, and the client's extremely happy about that. I think the nice thing about this project is it's a referral from an existing client for us to support them in services that we typically don't support them. And so it speaks to our client-focused business model. One thing I should mention is our client retention rate is over 92%. So the clients that work with us really like working with us. We're definitely not the biggest in the market, but we like to think we're one of the best. And they reward us with that kind of sticky relationships for work ongoing. This is an example of a potable water treatment system at a mine. One of the nice things is we do have a fabrication facility just on the west side of Ottawa on Carp. And what we do is we work with our clients and our engineering team to be able to come up with a solution that's specific to a client's needs. We put it all together on site here, and then we can ship the containers up to mine sites in remote areas, help install, commission, help them operate, and then we oversee and support them as need be. One of the things I think that our clients really do like is that we just don't sell tech, we actually support it and make sure that it continues to operate. Otherwise, that's a pretty big boat anchor to have up in the middle of nowhere. So we're very keen to make sure that what we sell, we support. We've learned that from our military services and support with our field service reps. We could have at any one time somebody on a plane heading to Singapore, to Halifax, doesn't matter where the boat is, and we go out and get them up and running as quickly as possible. So I think that's one of our main differentiators. We hire a lot of helmets to hard hats people right out of the military to support us on a lot of that work, and it's a nice way to operate the business. Another example, abandoned mine sites. There's a lot of sites right now being brought back into beneficial use as commodity prices increase. Say specifically about gold is a good example. So mines once closed at one point now become economically viable to reopen, and so we often get the call to assess the impacts and come up with a plan to be able to bring these mines back online. And so those are usually pretty big jobs. And with all that we're working in mines right now, we do have clients supporting them in battery metals and commodities, and that's a very stable market, especially now. We definitely see growth there. Treatment plant operation and maintenance. This is a shot up in Yellowknife at the Giant Mine. It's one of the largest operating mines in that part of the world. And a couple of years ago, we bid against others and won the contract to operate and optimize the water treatment facility for mined water at the mine. We have a small office in Yellowknife, but that's grown substantially. But we work with Indigenous partners and train them to work with us to operate and optimize the treatment systems. And the way these mines operate is they essentially shut down for the winter, but in the spring you have to treat, and through the summer you have to treat all the water associated with the mine so they can operate the mine. So it's a critical key aspect of how the mine operates. Well, since we've been involved, we've actually improved the technology and provided them every aspect of support that they need in order to be able to operate the mine at optimum levels. In fact, so much so that we're just about to polish off our next contract, which we're hoping will be a six-year extension on this assignment. We work with our partners Denton Cho, which is a very well-run Indigenous business up out of Yellowknife, and so it's a great relationship and a great outcome for our clients and for us. So, what are our growth priorities for this year? Number one, really building our culture of workplace safety, inclusion, diversity, and equality. We really feel strongly about that. One thing that makes us different compared to most firms that do what we do, we're actually completely gender equal. We have half of our staff are women, half are men. Most of the firms that do what we do, they look far too much like me. They're white guys over 55, but it's part of what makes us really good. We also look spend a lot of time making sure that we look like our clients and operate like our clients, which does show the same kind of diversity. Investing in innovation of our services and our clean tech. We spend a lot of time with our clients doing what we can to stay up within the universe of opportunities or problems that they've got they're willing to share with us. So we can come up with not just hobby tech, but real technology that's going to make a difference and be viable and valuable. And so we do spend a lot of time with our clients to understand that, and it does make us better and our technology better. Launching our go-to market agile water treatment solutions. This late April, we're planning to have a business summit for the firm. We're bringing 100 of our leadership to Ottawa, and we're going to go over all aspects of the business and revel in our successes and make sure that we're executing the way we need to going forward. But part of that will be having one of our first agile water treatment package systems in the trailer at the facility where we're having our meetings in Ottawa. It'll also be showcased at the CanSec conference in Ottawa. I think that's May. That's the largest conference of its kind for military tech in the country, and we've always been there every year, but all of our clients and all of our potential partners are there, and they're quite excited about seeing our system. Pursuing national opportunities, including with our Indigenous business partnerships, really key, especially in our northern operations, without a doubt. Expanding our current geographic footprint through global partnerships. Really, again, it's very clear to us that for us to effectively have broader reach than we currently have, those kind of relationships are going to be very keen. So we're in the process of finalizing some of those right now, or at least discussing those key global partners. continue to enhance our IT infrastructure and security. It's incredible how much our businesses are constantly under attack for security. But fortunately, we've invested very heavily and actually outsourced most of that to key experts within that part of our business. We know what we're good at, and we know that's a piece of the business that we need to get support on. So we continue to pour capital into that aspect of the business. And lastly, we say M&A, opportunistic investments. We are definitely in a position to take advantage of good opportunity, and we are looking for the right opportunity if it comes our way, be it new technology that plugs into or enhances our tech, or an aspect of the consultancy that is a key piece of growth for us. One thing, if you take a look at our track record over the last 5 years since I've been the CEO, we've gone from a business that was very much in a tough spot to today where we're in an excellent spot, as I say, with a very clean balance sheet, cash in the bank. Banks are pretty excited about lending us money. Others are too. We're very strategic about how we manage our capital. We look to negotiate contracts so that we can do everything we can to protect our cash and come up with at least cash neutral billings for large tech orders. So there's a lot of strategy in how we operate the business, but the bottom line is we're in business to stay in black and grow, and we manage our cash very, very tightly and appropriately. But we also do take care of our people in terms of incentives, in terms of competitive compensation. So all key aspects of us being a viable business today and going forward. And that's the end of my general presentation. What I'd like you all to hopefully come away with after this discussion is BluMetric's pretty unique in that for a firm our size and how we operate, we really have tremendous capabilities. We always punch above our weight class. We compete very well against some of the biggest in our business, and we do very well with it. And I think going forward, what you'll see is our consultancy really remains as a nice baseline business that feeds into the rest of the organization, and our clean tech has to grow. It's a very scalable business. We've gotten out of things that were probably more hobby tech, in my opinion, and really focused on what we're known for, what we're very good at, and ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us already, especially for our agile treatment systems. And so I think that's what you can expect from us in the very near future.
Fantastic, Scott. Thank you so much for that. A couple questions that came up in my mind right away, and I'll remind everybody, if you got a question you'd like me to ask Scott, please use the chat function, and we'll do our best to ask a question. I mean, the projects I saw were sort of Canadian-based. Geographically, do you focus on Canada, or are you international? What can you tell us?
We go where our clients need us to go, and we're very agile that way also. We have a history of working around the world depending on what the client's needs are. We don't put a pin on the map everywhere our clean tech is or has been. It all originates here, but we have worked around the world. One thing that we did when I first came here, the company had a position in El Salvador. In my past, I had Central America operating under me in my former aspect of my career, and El Salvador was not exactly a market that I felt we could really do much in, and especially do it safely. It's a place that I don't think that we belonged, but we were. We had a presence there just from opportunistically set up, and so we basically closed that down and passed it over to a partner in country, which is where I think it best lies. And stepping away from those situations, and then yet looking for opportunities to take advantage of what we believe is in our sweet spot, operating in safe countries, operating places where we know we'll get paid. We have a partnership, loose partnership with one of the largest privately held environmental companies in the United States by the name of Brown and Caldwell. I know a lot of people in that particular organization. They don't have a strong position in Canada. So we're very comfortable in saying that whatever comes our way to be able to support anything south of the border, we can work with Brown and Caldwell as they do with us north of the border to solve anything our clients need in North America. They have an office, a brick and mortar office in every major city in the United States. And so we're delighted because we get calls from them often to support them and their clients north of the border. And when we have something come up, we work with them south of the border. They have business licenses, they have professional licenses, and that way we're actually operating on the up and up and operating as we need to. So overseas, we get a lot of calls from Europe relative to our technology. That's sort of budding relationships and curiosities, especially as it relates to supporting the Ukraine, especially with our portable agile water treatment systems. I think right now the priorities over there really sadly is ammunition. It's not clean water quite yet, but we do see those things evolving on the horizon. It's all part of our plan with Agile Water. It's humanitarian. We have a history of working with the DART team in Canada, with disaster relief team from the Navy. And so our heart is definitely in supporting that kind of work. It's very meaningful work. So we'll see how that evolves going forward.
Mhm. I usually try to ask what the addressable market is, but clearly, it's very large. But how can investors sort of, wrap around the idea of what's your capacity? Like, what could you guys do annually, I guess, in revenue at the current stage?
Well, one of the aspects that we're very keenly aware of is that when you're in the business of consultancy, you're in the business of selling hours. You're also selling total solutions to clients, which are fixed price projects. So they're somewhat limited, and we have in total in the firm about 180 people. The opportunity to scale up and do even more meaningful things with our financials really comes back to our technology side. And so in advance of the opportunities that we have in our pipeline right now, we've actually doubled the size of our facility outside of Ottawa. The sister building that's exactly the same size of our one that we're in currently came up for lease, and we picked it up immediately. So we're currently fitting that out so we could double the capacity of our military and clean tech business. And then from there, it really is, it's pretty open in terms of what we could do. I think the kind of goals we'd like to see is, honestly, get from 35 to 50 million in a fairly short period of time. If we could get our technology side of the business half the size of the entire entity, I think we're well there and above. I look at our market cap and shake my head, and I think, if you look at, we've got a year's worth of backlog, we've got work in hand, we've got receivables coming to us and 5 million in the bank. So it's not hard to add up to 12 million in a short period of time and more. So in terms of our value and where we're at, it's still pretty confounding and a little frustrating. But at the same time, our mantra is really steady organic growth, focus on focus on our clean tech, and responsibly grow it, get it in the hands of the people that really are going to appreciate it, get it in different countries where we have clients or integrators that are interested in integrating it in their tech, and then we're off and running. And then it's a pretty interesting, good future from there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned a pipeline or backlog. Do you publish your backlog?
We don't. The discipline that I'm driving into the organization from where it was 5 years ago today is really understanding our backlog, our burn rate, getting a good pipeline that we understanding the probability to close, running the business to turn it into available backlog, and again, negotiating good contracts that don't put us out of business and protects our capex. Really, that's been a big focus of ours. And so, that's what you can expect more of from us.
And I guess I should have asked this earlier, but how do you get business? Like, do people knock on your door, or are you out there, chasing down RFPs or chasing down clients?
A couple of ways. Our reputation is really good, and so we do get a lot of calls. But we definitely have market sector leadership for each one of those markets. Someone who's responsible for keeping an eye on the horizon, making sure that we're positioning ourselves and communicating with existing and prospective clients. Really a piece of the business that really hadn't happened much in the past because it really was almost a word of mouth business. And so we're working hard at growing that and investing in some new help to make that happen. In our military business, especially, we really see the need to grow that also in the services side, because we really don't support the military in ways that we could on some larger contracts to support them aside from the clean tech that we have. So we're definitely talking to key candidates that we could bring into the organization that could help us grow that. We have a brand new market sector leader for mining. She's been on about a year. Our government team is tried and true. They've been around for a long time. The fellow that runs that's been around almost 30 years. And our commercial industrial side is really a collection of a lot of very senior consultants, and they're definitely a brand, and the calls definitely come to them. But we're also looking to invest in really an outward message that, you know, we shouldn't be the best kept secret in our industry, so to speak.
Yeah, no question. Taking a step back, you talked about these water treatment facilities, mobile water treatment facilities. How big could that get for you guys? What do you expect in terms of revenue, and give us maybe a sense of margins? What do you get when you have one of these out in the field?
I have to be careful about obviously talking about this because we do have some competitive proposals out there, and the last thing we want to do is educate the competition.
Good point. Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, the magnitude of the opportunities are in the 20, 30, $50 million range individually. And that could be with right to the shipbuilding organizations that provide ships around the world, to the agile treatment systems that the Department of National Defense is looking for to be able to fortify their business, and then others around the world. So they're not like $5,000 assignments. These are the longer sales cycle, larger contracts that were hard to foster through the pandemic, and now they're starting to bear fruit.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And then as a business, you've been running it now for, I think you said 5 years. What challenges do you face? What are your biggest challenges you're facing right now?
Well, to some degree, in a big degree, we're a people business. And so it's important for us to have a company culture that produces the gravity for some of the brightest minds to come to. And what we do see, there's been a lot of consolidation in our industry as well. So one of the strategies that we have is we're banking on the real entrepreneurs in the organizations that have been bought and try to be integrated in the biggest of big firms. Typically, those people, they don't like that kind of an environment. They get bored. They don't like all the red tape. They don't like the bureaucracy. They want to work with an agile, aggressive, entrepreneurial organization, and that would be us. So we want to be the home to harvest and grow our team on the basis of that kind of an enterprise. So there has been some turnover through the pandemic. Everybody has seen it. We see it slowing. So, but we haven't gotten smaller. We haven't gotten a lot bigger, but we haven't gotten smaller. So we've kept up. Others have not. So that's the people side. In terms of the technology side, I think it's really up to us. We have to keep up to our ambitions and abilities to deliver on our promise, maintain quality, make sure that we build that business the right way, and continue to be happy with how the outcome is for our clients. And then keep an open mind. This really is right now mostly a Canadian business, as you've identified. But I do believe, especially on the tech side, as we develop what it is that our clients are asking for, and it is a real game changer, the demand should be there. Then it comes down to how do you execute on the scale up. And every partner that we've talked to said, don't worry about it. We're happy to help you there because, we have 200,000 square foot facility in Quebec or 200,000 square foot, name the place. They're just looking somehow to integrate what it is that we do into their basic aspects of engineering and design, which is just fine. But they're also the procurement experts as well. They, a lot of these big organizations that do this on a daily basis, they have one client, and it could be the Department of National Defense for the world, or it could be, humanitarian organizations, you name it. But at the end of the day, we're very open to learning, and we're a good dance partner as well. We're not of a size that we're going to be, threatening to any of these organizations. We're really a big, +1 when it comes to their business.
Mm. And one question I didn't ask earlier, you're a public company. We always ask insiders and sort of management, what kind of percentage ownership do you have? What's your vested stake in this business?
Well, there's quite a few owners that are shareholders within the organization, throughout the organization, because it was a reverse takeover 10 years ago.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of holdings within the organization, and improving, I would say, in terms of the executive and the board. But work to do there. One of the challenges that I've got is I'm a very if it's not obvious, I'm a very hands-on CEO. I'm very much trust, but I'm also even more so verify. So I get involved with a lot of aspects of the business, right from the technology side of the consultancy to the client selection to troubleshooting. Sometimes you have a client that's not going well. One of the things that I didn't mention, you asked me, one of our challenges, we can run a great business, but if our clients are in trouble, then that's something we have to manage too. We have to get paid. We have to resolve those issues. And so I find myself kind of as a bit of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to the business right now. So it's very few opportunities for me to be in a position where I can legally pick up stock.
Right. Gotcha.
But it happens.
Yeah. The general makeup of the stock, do you have much in the way of institutional interest? Do you have, like, I'm almost asking a generic question around your micro cap in the ESG space. Challenging enough being a micro cap in Canada, but are you getting people calling, and outside of us, anybody else that's showing interest?
Oh yeah, actually, if you check the trades, you'll see that there's definitely some interest. In your neck of the woods, Canaccord's a big supporter of us. They enjoyed our story. They like how we run the business. We do our best to make sure that our investors understand that we're accurate, we're conservative, but we're aggressive. We're focused on making sure that we stay tight and produce profit. In many ways, the old school way of operating, a company that people used to really get excited about, as opposed to selling the story, selling the sizzle, and there was no steak. Well, I think our mistake is there's lots of steak, but there's not enough sizzle. And we're looking at ways to improve that. We're evaluating how we do our IR, and these are all things that the company's never done before, right? And so we'll learn to improve there. We definitely have some work to do.
Hmm. Well, I mean, if you're making money, boring is beautiful. So I wouldn't try to add too much sizzle at the expense of making money.
No, we get a little frustrated. One of our external shareholders reminded me, he said, Scott, for every overnight success in the small cap sector, it took 10 years to get there. So don't feel so bad, right?
Yeah. That's certainly been my experience with microcaps. Listen, as investors like ourselves here, what do you think are the key metrics or maybe catalysts that we should be watching out for, just to know that you guys are heading in the right direction?
I would say, you will see, we always have some fluctuation in our results. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the business. So we'd like to see, that smoothed out as our technology picks up, and that should help fill in those valleys. I think that's something we should look forward to as we develop and close on those contracts. So really the key is let's see what we can do to get those in-house, get ink on those contracts, start really pushing production in our technology side of the business as we advance the rest of the business. So I would say that's a key piece of it. We'd love to see our top line grow. We've improved the quality of our client base. Now we need to see it grow. And then it's, what do you do? What are we doing with our cash? Because, it's starting to grow. It's a great situation to be in, but, we really are keen about keeping our powder dry with what we see in the economy coming to us. It's important that we are resilient. So, we're investing in our people, but at the same time, we've got to make sure that we're doing the right things to say, a year, 2, 3, 5, 10 from now that we've done the right things with what we produce to be able to continue to grow this business and do meaningful things. I mean, I come back to that. That's a big piece of what I believe and what we believe is hold us accountable. We have to demonstrate that what we do truly is valuable and meaningful. I think the market resonates with that. If we're in places producing clean water where no one else could, and saving lives, if we're supporting the military to be able to advance their mission in places they wouldn't have been able to get otherwise and help people, then that's a key piece of what we really want. And that includes Indigenous communities, that includes remote settings. We're really big on at the end of the day, looking at ourselves and saying that we did more than just sell technology. We did more than just sell an hour. We made a difference and our clients appreciate it. And that's shown to us by these enduring relationships. So I think that's a big part of what makes us successful going forward, Paul.
Fantastic. And then just last sort of key message. Is there anything you want to make sure that we all walk away with knowing about the business?
What I would encourage the investment community is take a good hard look at our balance sheet. If you haven't, take a good hard look at our history. If you haven't, what you have here is an organization that's been in business post RTO 10 years, but it had a 30-year, 20-year history before that. So it's not like a brand new business. What you have is an established business that's being run far better than it has been, producing much better results than it has been, and setting itself up to do the meaningful things that it deserves to do. And so when you become familiar with that, then it comes down to really seeing us grow and seeing the kind of things that we can do now that we have the foundation to do it. We weren't quite ready a couple of years ago, but we're ready now.
Fantastic. It's been great. We've been speaking with CEO Scott MacFabe, BluMetric Environmental, symbol is BLM on the Venture Exchange. Scott, I want to thank you for joining us and look forward to catching up with you in the near future.
Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate your time.
Bye for now.